Your habits are not the problem. They are the surface. Underneath every repeated behavior lives a pattern you have never named. That pattern is older than your habits. It is older than your decisions. It has been writing your life since before you could speak. Most people try to fix their habits. They download apps. They build streaks. They white-knuckle their way through change. And within weeks, the old pattern returns. Different habit, same shape, same ending, same quiet disappointment in the mirror. Today you will understand why, and more importantly, you will understand what is actually running underneath. Carl Jung discovered something the modern self-help industry refuses to teach. He found that behavior is downstream of something deeper. He called these deeper structures complexes, charged knots inside the unconscious, each one carrying a script you did not write. A complex is not a flaw. It is an organized pattern of emotion, memory, and belief, all bundled around a single core wound. When that wound gets touched, the complex activates, and when the complex activates, your habits follow automatically. This is why willpower fails. You are not fighting a habit. You are fighting a pattern with its own gravity. Think of it this way. Your habits are the weaves. Your patterns are the roots. Pulling leaves does nothing. Stay with me here, because the next part will explain something about yourself you have never been able to articulate. Every complex has 3 layers: the behavior on top, the emotion in the middle, the belief at the bottom. The behavior is what others see: scrolling at midnight, eating in secret, picking fights with people you love. The emotion is what you feel just before the behavior begins: loneliness, restlessness, a tight unnamed dread. The belief is what hides underneath the emotion: I am not safe here, I am not enough, I will be left. Jung observed that the belief layer was almost never conscious. People could describe their habits. They could not describe what was driving them. This is the part most modern therapy never reaches. You can change a behavior temporarily. The belief keeps regenerating new behaviors. Picture this. A man quits drinking. Within months, he is working 70 hours a week. Same nervous system, same escape, different costume. The pattern beneath did not change. Only the surface. But Jungians have a name for this. They call it symptom migration. Symptom migration is the unconscious finding a new exit when the old one closes. Until the root pattern is met, the exits keep multiplying. This is why inner work matters more than habit work. Habit work edits the behavior. Inner work edits the engine. Now imagine your psyche as a house with many rooms. Most people live in the hallway. They never enter the basement. The basement is where the patterns live. Not as monsters, as children, young parts of you who learn to survive in specific ways. Each pattern was once a solution. A child who could not be seen learned to perform. A child who was punished learned to hide. The solution worked then. It is still running now. Even though the danger is gone, the program never updated. This is what Jung meant when he said we are lived by powers we pretend to understand. The pattern is older than your understanding of it. So how do you actually recognize a pattern beneath your habits? Here is where the framework becomes practical. The first sign is repetition across different contexts. Same dynamic with different bosses. Same conflict with different partners. The second sign is disproportionate emotion. A small moment triggers a large reaction. The size of the feeling does not match the size of the event. The third sign is the after feeling. Shame, confusion, a sense of having been hijacked by someone who looks like you but is not quite you. The fourth sign is the inability to stop with logic. You know better. You do it anyway. The pattern does not respond to reason. The fifth sign is the secret familiarity. Some part of you recognizes this moment, as if you have lived it many times before. If you have ever noticed yourself doing this, you are not broken. You are encountering the structure Jung called a complex. Comment below with a single word that describes a pattern you keep repeating. Naming it begins to weaken its grip. Now back to the framework. Because recognition alone is not enough. The pattern wants something from you. Every complex is trying to communicate. It is not your enemy. It is a messenger using the only language it knows. That language is repetition. The unconscious repeats what has not yet been felt, understood, or integrated. This is the part that changes everything. Your pattern is not punishing you. It is asking to be witnessed. Carl Jung wrote that what we do not bring to consciousness comes to us as fate. The pattern feels like fate because you have not yet brought it to light. So how do you bring it to light? Not by attacking the habit, by tracing the habit backward. Here is the practice. Tonight, choose one habit you keep repeating despite wanting to stop. Write it on a page. Then ask 3 questions. What do I feel in the moment just before this habit begins? Not after, just before. Second question, what does that feeling remind me of from earlier in life? Let an image come. Do not force it. Third question, what was that younger version of me trying to survive? Write the answer without editing. You will likely find something simple and almost embarrassing in its ordinariness. A small moment, a small wound, a small belief. That small belief is the root of the pattern, not the habit. The habit is just how the root expresses itself this year. This is inner work, not fixing, not optimizing. Listening, sitting with the part of you that has been speaking through your behavior. When you listen, something remarkable happens. The habit loses urgency, not overnight, but noticeably. The grip softens. Because the pattern was never asking for performance, it was asking for presence. Once witnessed, it no longer needs to shout. This is what Jung meant by individuation, the slow process of integrating the parts of yourself that have been running the show from the shadows. You do not need to dismantle every pattern. You need to meet them, one at a time, with patience, without contempt. Most people skip this work because it feels too slow. They want a 30-day challenge. The unconscious does not run on 30-day challenges. It runs on recognition, on the quiet decision to stop fighting yourself and start understanding yourself. There is a part of inner work no one warns you about. It will feel like nothing is changing for a while. You will sit with the pattern, you will name it, you will feel ridiculous, and then one ordinary Tuesday you will not repeat it. Not because you forced yourself, because the part of you that needed the habit finally felt heard, and it let go. This is the goal the Jungian spoke about. Not riches, not enlightenment, the quiet recovery of pieces of yourself you had abandoned. Each pattern you meet returns something to you, energy that was locked in repetition, attention that was hostage to the loop. You begin to notice space inside yourself, a pause where there used to be a reaction, a choice where there used to be a compulsion. That space is not a technique. It is the result of inner work done honestly. It cannot be faked. It can only be earned. So here is what I want you to understand before you close this video. Your habits are not who you are. Your patterns are not who you are either. You are the awareness that can finally see them. And that awareness is the beginning of freedom. Do not try to change everything tonight. Choose one habit, trace it backward. Find the feeling, find the memory, find the belief. Sit with what you find. Do not fix it. Do not judge it. Witness it the way you would witness a child telling you a difficult truth. That is the work. That is inner work, not louder discipline, deeper listening. The pattern beneath your habits has been waiting your entire life for you to turn toward it. Tonight you can begin. What you resist persists. What you face transforms. What you integrate becomes power. This is the Jungian way. If this reached something inside you, subscribe to the Archetype code. We decode one hidden part of your psyche at a time. And remember this, you are not your habits, you are not your patterns. You are the one who can finally see them. And seeing is where the change begins.